What's going on, party people? Welcome to another episode of Culture 316. I am one of your hosts and producers, Jordan Dahisi.
And it's Edge's Throat Goat Mo. What's up, people?
Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode. Once again, if you're on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you stream your podcast, be sure to give us a 5 stars, a positive rating. We really, really appreciate the love and support. Also, if you haven't done so already, please join our Discord. We got some fun group things coming up soon, and you don't want to miss out on it. So, yeah, join our Discord. A couple of things to kind of kick off the show. Number one, Twitter space, 316 space for Crown Jewel. Be sure to join us as we're going to be reacting to Crown Jewel in real time. You know how it is. If you join our 316 space before, you know how fun it gets. You know how dope it is. And so we are looking to build with you guys and to connect with you guys even more. And we look forward to seeing you guys there. So Saturday, 12 p.m.
Bring your
Eastern
drinks,
Standard
bring your
Time.
smokes. Yes,
Yeah,
people.
all that. Bring all that, and we'll be there, and we'll be ready for you guys. A couple other things. Get well, R-Truth. He was injured. It looked like he was injured on the previous episode of WWE NXT, and we just wanted to send our regards and our love to him. So, R-Truth, get well, bro. We're praying for you. We hope that all is well. And the last thing, and the most tragic thing of the week, we wanted to officially say rest in peace to Takeoff, who was 1/3 of the famous rap trio, the Migos. Huge wrestling fan, but more importantly, a phenomenal human being. We wanted to send our love and condolences to him and his family, his friends, his label. You'll deeply be missed as someone who was a very, very big part of our culture. But moving on to that, from that onto a lighter note, first things first. WWE has announced that a series focused on Montez Ford and Bianca Belair is headed to Hulu. This is in addition to the announcement that WWE will also be renewing their streaming rights with Hulu for Monday Night Raw. But obviously, this is the bigger news: is this Montez Ford and Bianca Belair show that's heading to Hulu. So, what does this say about our favorite couple? What does it say about their mainstream potential? And I just kind of wanted to get your take on it.
God, first of all, I'm super happy. If anyone knows me, they know that I'm a huge Bianca Belair fan. Like, I love her. I adore everything about her. And not just her, like Montez. Like, I love just them as a couple. They don't
Mm,
feel forced. They're very natural. I love how like he almost like worships her. Like the ground
yeah,
that she walks on, this man worships it. They support each other. And if I'm not mistaken, they fell in love in NXT.
yeah,
Like their story is so fucking cute because it was like, like a little childhood romance where, she was just waiting for him to approach her and she said in her head like that's gonna be my man. And surely enough, honey got the rock at her finger.
right.
And a few years down the line, now they got a show going. Like I love it. Like I'm so happy for the both of them. Congrats to them. I feel like it's gonna be something that unlike the failed plan that they had with Corey and Carmella,
Mm,
trying to push out a couple. It's gonna come off more natural. If anything, it's gonna be like probably like a more natural version and probably a less forced version of what they try to do with Miz and Maurice. Not
mm,
that that show was bad. I actually kind of enjoyed some episodes. It just came off a
yeah,
little too scripted. But I feel like off of like if you watch their chemistry with Bianca and Montez on their lives and stuff like that during the pandemic, I surely did because I'm a fan of both of them. They're just super fun. They're fun. They're playful. They're definitely like a couple that's going to appeal to many different types of people, audience wise. So good for them. And of course, the main thing I'm absolutely ecstatic about is just to see just the shift towards urban culture again. Because
mm,
I do feel like anytime it came down to WWE doing anything that was reality TV, it was always kind of catered to their favorite white talents, which
yeah.
don't get me wrong, I get it, those people are making money and stuff like that, but it's just like you got the perfect package here with Montez and Bianca. It's just so wholesome,
Mm-hmm.
with everything that they do. So congrats to them. I'll be definitely tuning in. I'm hoping everyone else is going to be tuning in. What do you think about it?
Man, for starters, I love Montez and Bianca together. Obviously, I love both of them individually. Phenomenal in-ring talents, beautiful people. And like when we talk about just like quintessential wholesome black love, like I just look at Bianca and Montez and my heart just melts. But like I think we kind of talked about it in private a little bit. Man, it's just good to see people, good people get opportunities like this. Cause like Montez Bianca, they really just stay to themselves, get their bag, get in and get out. Like there's no drama, there's no conflicts, there's no whatever. You know what I mean? They just about their business. They take care of business. They're great at what they do. And I think that these opportunities that are coming their way are well deserved. I think that this is going to be a very, very big show. I think there's going to be they're literally printing money. You really can't go wrong. Like they're both of them are entertaining as all get out. Like I wasn't able to catch their lives during the pandemic, but like I would always see like the little house show videos where like the Street Profits just had a match, and then Bianca's match is next, and then Bianca's making her way down the ring, and you know Montez and them are like going back up, and you see like the little interactions that Montez and Bianca have, and it's just so cute and wholesome and fun, and you know, I think WWE saw that and was like, you know what, I think that we could do something with this. And it kind of also kind of builds on what we already knew about Bianca, which is that she's a star. She's a mainstream star loaded with crossover potential. And I knew that when she was signed to WME, I knew that there were big plans ahead. And I think that this Hulu show is only just the beginning. So I'm really, really happy for them. And I think that this is going to be really, really dope. I think I'm gonna personally enjoy the show. I'm very, very much looking forward to it. But I was gonna say, did you have anything else that you wanted to say about it, or because you look like you we were gonna say something, but I didn't. I didn't want to.
Oh, cause like I started thinking about the tidbits, like I remember after she won her WrestleMania moment, like there was footage going around with Montez, like he was on the sidelines the entire time watching it, and they were showing him, coming in celebrating his wife, like having her first WrestleMania moment and making history and stuff like that. And there's so many tidbits of that, and it just came into my mind that they're probably going to include that onto the show, like all
Mm-hmm.
the ways that they support each other backstage. So that's something that's kind of came to my mind off of your point. Yeah, no, I just love how they're each other's support system. They are in completely different separate lanes, but you'll always see them together when it comes to anything outside of WWE with any media outlet. Like they're really like attached at the hip, always
Mm-hmm.
supporting one another. And I just love that. I just love seeing healthy, strong Black Empire love. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
just makes my heart melt. It's so fucking cute.
Right.
Like goals, literally goals.
Absolute goals. But
That's all I got to say on that.
for I want to know what everybody else has to say about this. So if you're watching this, be sure to comment below, tweet at us, let us know what you think, because clearly y'all know what we think. But speaking of urban culture, Jade and Bow Wow had a very, very interesting interaction on Twitter, which was then highlighted on the Shade Room. Essentially, Bow Wow was talking, expressing his desires to wrestle in All Elite Wrestling, and then he said something along the lines of, "When after I get my first win, I want to take out Jade," and Jade said that she was too expensive. So shot denied. No surprises there, but I kind of wanted to know what your takeaways were from that little interaction on Twitter between Jade and Bow Wow.
That shit was fucking hilarious to me, but it actually threw me off guard because I was just scrolling on Instagram. It was actually the first thing that I opened up my things to. I was just like, oh shit, Jay Cargill. Because the funny thing about her is that people who don't even watch wrestling know Jay Cargill. Like
Yeah.
when I was doing my photo shoot just a couple days ago, I was, just chopping it up with the painter and the photographer. And they know nothing about what's going on nowadays, but we were having a whole conversation about Jay Cargill, and like they knew already about her background, about her doing basketball and stuff like that. They were aware of her cosplays, how viral she already is on social media and stuff like that. I was just like, wow, that's like really insane to me. Like the type of just like pull and just how gravitating she just is. I mean, of course, with the way that she looks, like duh, like she's definitely gonna make you stop whatever you're
Mm-hmm.
doing. But it's just like that's really insane, like how mainstream she is. And again, she's still just getting started. She's
Mm-hmm.
still very much new to this industry. You know what I mean? And I know within a few more years, if she just keeps going, she's gonna get better in the ring. It's gonna catch up to her looks and her presence. But that to me is insane that you even have rappers aware of Jay Cargill and like how mainstream they are, that is to a point where it's like expanded across, you know, black culture, whether it's in music, whether it's in arts, whether it's just regular people. Like Jade is really just that girl. Like her she's just something else. But the whole interaction, of course, I thought was funny.
Right.
Because yeah, no one expected that Bat was gonna pull Jade. If I'm not mistaken, I think Jade has a kid and she's married,
Yeah.
right? I
Yep.
think.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know where he thought he was gonna go with that one. You know, like she tried to keep it cute, try to keep it classy. Um, sorry. But no, I think it's actually an amazing thing. It makes me actually really happy to see people like us again, like being pushed out in being pushed out not just in social media but across all media platforms.
Hmm.
So that's really what I pulled out of it. Just Jade really is that girl, and she's just getting started. What did
Mm.
you think?
I think obviously I agree with everything that you said. The interaction was hilarious. It wasn't really of surprise to me that Bow Wow was involved because he has expressed interest in professional wrestling before, even before there was an AEW or before AEW is kind of on the rise that at least that they are on right now. So I'm not surprised that Bow Wow has his hand in like the wrestling bag because it's something that this is something that he's been very very interested in for a while now. However, I do need to discuss this. The Shad Moss slander has to stop. All right, I love Jade. I think she is that girl. I think that she's an incredible athlete. But everybody out here talking about the Bow Wow name, there are only four rappers that have sold out Madison Square Garden, and Bow Wow is one of those names. Bow Wow has sold millions of records. He's done a rapper's career before he turned 18. And so he's a GOAT. He's a legend in his own right. And anytime somebody tries to talk down on Bow Wow's name, I'm just like, that's weird. I mean, like, it's not weird per se, because he does some weird stuff. However, we not gonna act like Bow Wow ain't did nothing. Like Shad, he be doing whatever he want to do nowadays. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I we just need to stop with the Shad Moss slander. But going back to the main point, I think that this was great for both of them. Anytime you can show up on the Shade Room is a good day. It's good press for AEW because now it has something to build towards. Possibly Bow Wow being in AEW, possibly Jade having an on-screen moment with Bow Wow. That's something for us as wrestling fans to look forward to, and I'm really interested to see kind of where they go from here. Um, you had something else you wanted to say?
No, it's just that I feel like the people who do slander Bow Wow either didn't grow up with him as a kid, because I mean he did peak as a kid.
Yeah.
But I feel like his career went downhill when people started noticing that he looked like Little Mama, or that they look like each other or some shit like that. And I feel like afterwards, no one took him seriously for some odd reason. I just
Mm,
noticed that parallel. And again, no, I'm just saying, like, no one really took him seriously afterward. I'm not aware of all the weird, corny stuff that he does. I'm just aware that he had a few interactions with wrestlers over the years, and that on at least on social media, he's very much corny. I don't know what else he does,
right.
or if he's making music right now, if he's doing something else. But I mean, I agree with you that he was successful then. I mean, he kind of peaked. Like, I don't know, he kind of had no business kind of shooting his shot with Jay Carr. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere.
Mm.
Drake probably has a better chance.
Oh yeah, Drake always has a
Yeah,
chance. It's
that's what
Drake.
I think.
Drake always has a chance. But
That's
speaking of
true.
but speaking of rappers, All Elite Wrestling has been adding more and more rappers to the programming. On last night's episode of Dynamite, we saw the biggest boss, Rick Ross, alongside Swerve, and that was honestly one of the most entertaining segments I've ever seen. False accusations. I don't know if you've seen the video, but that joint is mad funny. But anywho, uh, we saw Rick Ross alongside Swerve with all the rappers that are being added to the weekly programming, because we've had Rick Ross now. We've seen Fab and DJ Who Kid and Action Bronson, and West Side Gun. Who is
Fabulous.
one? Who is one rapper that you would like to see on Dynamite?
I said this before and I'll say it again. I actually really want to see Lil Wayne. I feel like if you're gonna still keep up with getting some throwback classic rappers, you have to get Lil Wayne.
Mm,
I would love to especially see a female rapper. I know we got Trina on before, but what I really would love to see is someone like Lil Wayne actually like show up, and he doesn't really have to cut a promo. Cause I know he probably with his voice, it's probably not gonna sound that great. But if he could just say his catchphrase, and I could get him to perform and open up the show and lead out like it could be Swerve or it could be any other person really. But I think it'd be really awesome if we got someone like Lil Wayne or Drake. Really anyone from Young Money, but I really want to see Lil Wayne or Drake open up the show and lead a rapper, not a rapper, lead a talent to the ring for the opener. I think
mm.
that'd be really fun. It's been a minute since we've seen any like actual rap performances on wrestling. What do you think?
So I have two answers. If it were to be a woman,
Okay.
I would love to see Lotto. I would love to see Lotto in AEW. Um, if it were a guy,
Mm,
so my male and female answer are going to be very very different. If it were to be a guy, I would love to see Kendrick. I would love to see Kendrick Lamar on AEW TV, personally because he's my favorite rapper. Um, but yeah, like I would just love to see Kendrick on AEW. I think that would just be really really different. Like I feel like he's part of that Drake generation of rappers. Like I feel like it's Drake, it's Sean, it's Cole, it's Kendrick, and it's ASAP. Like I love that class of rappers, and I just feel like Kendrick showing up would just be completely different. He has like a very cinematic element to him, so I could see him doing stuff for a wrestler like Malachi Black. You know what I'm saying? Like something really really dark, something really really cinematic and different. I just think that would just be really really dope. But yeah, that's the rapper that I would probably have on. You look very very surprised when I said Lotto though.
not that I dislike Lotto. It's just that the only reason why I would put her there is because she is, I guess, I don't want to say she's it right now, but she kind of is it. I know, I'm not like that big of a fan of her music,
Mm,
but I do see that she has an appeal.
yeah.
Like she's very likable. I think that's the way she presents herself, especially from what I've been seeing on social media and stuff like that. I think she definitely has the personality, and she, considering she's it right now, yeah, she probably would help them. But I was surprised she didn't go with like a throwback person, or not even throwback, but someone that we know likes wrestling, like Cardi B. I know that she loves
Mm.
WWE and all that stuff. But I would think it'd be. I was expecting you to say Cardi B or for some other reason, Nikki,
You know what it
considering
is?
that they're like more of the more well known. But
Yes, I would love to see Cardi B in wrestling. However, I would only want to see her in WWE. I wouldn't want to see her in AEW. If that makes sense. I feel like certain people are for certain
okay,
platforms. So I feel like somebody like a Cardi is WWE because she's been standing for WWE for a minute now. Like specific wrestlers in WWE, like Rey Mysterio, like Randy Orton, like Eddie Guerrero, like a lot of her favorite names are like WWE names. So it's like if I see Cardi in wrestling, I would only want to see her in WWE. Um Obviously she can go and
that's
do as she
fair.
pleases,
That's
but
fair.
I just feel like she's like a WWE girl. You know what I mean? What are you gonna say? Because I just
What
saw your
about
face.
Megan? Megan, I just thought
Ooh,
about it. Megan would probably be pretty cool.
that would be cool as well. Megan
That
Thee
would be
Stallion.
such a fucking draw if Megan
Oh my
showed up.
god.
What?
In Houston, if they did a
What?
show in Houston, they got to bring Megan out.
Yes.
That would be popping as hell. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I know like she made an appearance and she took a picture with, no, she didn't make an appearance in WWE. She just happened to take a picture with Bianca. I don't know where they're at, but
Rolling
I seen
Loud.
that picture with Bianca. But I think it'd be fire. Yeah, I think it'd be fire if they had Megan actually. And actually I think she would look really good next to Jade.
Hmm.
Really, really
I
good
like
next to
that.
Jade.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that a lot. I like that a lot. But while we're on the
Mhm.
topic of women,
I'd be thinking.
you be using that brain of yours up here. Um, while we're on the topic of women, Bailey said Bailey said in a recent interview that WWE needs a women's mid card championship, and later in the week Dana Brooke kind of commented on possibly or wanting to convert the 24/7 championship to an intercontinental title slash a mid card title for the women. So my question to you: does WWE need a women's mid card title? And if so, who should be the first women's intercontinental champion be?
Hmm. It's actually kind of hard. It's just because I still don't think they're doing that great of a job with like building up some of the female talents that I could like
Mm-hmm.
name something right off rip, because if they never gave Liv Morgan the title already, I would strongly have suggested her to have gotten the title first, because out of everyone, she had like the wrestling on lock, she had the look on lock. She just wasn't the best person promo wise, or at least
Mm-hmm.
character wise. But that's why I love mid cards and I love the mid card belts, because it's for people who I feel like, all right, you got something about you, but you're not quite yet up here, you know. But if
Mm-hmm.
we give you this belt, we can see how you work with it, you know, with
Mm-hmm.
a smaller division with people that are kind of somewhat on your caliber, and maybe like with time, you know, you could be treated like a Mandy Rose,
Yeah.
where you know she took the NXT championship and no one believed in her, but she literally like evolved over the course of 300 and something freaking days. I think it's been over a year if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You
It's been
know,
over a year.
so if I had to think of a name, I mean, right off the top of my head, real quick, I haven't been doing a really good job with many people. uh, um, no, I think I'm drawing a blank. I don't think I have anyone right in mind immediately that I would want to. Like, I feel like if they gave it more time and actual good storylines, I could see someone. Dana Brooke, as much as I call her a waste of space, she does try. I wouldn't see her with the mid card belt immediately, but I could see her definitely fighting that circle. Carmella probably be fine. Zelina probably could be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think as far as the first champion is concerned, I think they should give it to Bailey.
Yeah,
I think that Bailey is,
Bailey.
yeah, here, and I'll give you my explanation why, right? One of the biggest problems of the Intercontinental Championship and the US Championship, I'm talking about for the guys, was that there was a very, very big point in time where it didn't feel prestigious. And then when the world title or the world champion was away, then they tried to make it feel important to fill the kind of the gap or the vacancy of there not being a present, consistent world champion around. Um, and so because of that, what ended up happening was like they were rushing and they were scrambling and they were like, oh, this is important. But we as the audience didn't believe it, because it's like you spent all this time not treating this title as if, you know, as if it weren't important. And I feel like one of the best ways to establish importance or prestige in a championship is by putting it on a prestigious person or someone who is a pillar or a cornerstone of that division. Um, and I feel like, hold on, my bad. I'm just like, I'm drawing a blank here. Um, I feel like if you put the belt on Bailey, you can't go wrong. Number one, she is one of the four horsewomen, right? For starters. Number two, she is well known for having one of the greatest women's wrestling matches of all time with her and Sasha Banks at NXT Takeover. Number two. Number three, ever since she's been coming back, she's been working with and trying to put over new talent, which means that if you put the belt on her and give her a good run, whoever takes the belt off of her is going to be over and is going to be more prestigious just for taking the belt off of her. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if you put a belt on Bailey, give her like a 6 to 7 month run, now she can say, yo, I'm the first ever, not only am I the first horsewoman to ever lead a faction, I'm the first horsewoman to hold this women's intercontinental championship, right? And now whoever comes and takes that belt off of her is now becomes a star in the process. So I think that Bailey should be the first champion, but I feel like a women's intercontinental title is very much needed because there is definitely a gap. And with that championship, you can kind of answer a lot of questions about a superstar without necessarily having them have the main belt. For example, if Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction were to pop up on Raw or pop up on SmackDown, and it's like, well, we know that she can carry a title, but how is she going to do on the main roster? Instead of just giving her the Raw, the SmackDown Women's Championship, it's like we could put this Intercontinental belt on her. Let's see what she does with that. And then from there, we can see if she can be essentially the face of the women's division moving forward. Now, Mandy, in my opinion, is face of the division ready. But if you are, a higher up in WWE and you just wanted to kind of see what her match quality looks like, um, what her promos are going to look like as that champion, you could put the belt on her and see what she does with it. And so I think that it's needed, and I think that Bailey would be a good first champion. So that's just my standpoint.
I also think, as you were saying that Naomi could also, if Sasha and her were to
Hmm.
return, and let's just say, considering that Damage Control and Alexa and Asuka are doing their program, they just thought, all right, let's just scrap them going for those titles. I think it'd be interesting to put Naomi too, because
Mhm.
she works well in both. I loved how she worked when she was working with the Divas Championship. No, she didn't actually get it, but like with those type of women, I feel like she was able to show off and show out. But I also do feel like she knows how to, be a face of a company she wants to be. But I feel like, considering she's been there for so long, and she's as talented as she is, I think she would also, if I think Bailey should still be the first person. I agree with that point, but
Mhm.
I would actually like it if Naomi did dethrone her, and then,
Mm.
carry on with a long reign with the belt, and Bailey could go back, still being part of Damage Control. I would never disband them, but
Yeah, same.
let them still continue as a pack, still going for the what fucking program are they on? The Raw? They're on Raw, right? Going for
Yes.
the Raw Women's Championship and for the tag team titles yet again. I had a brain fart. I was
You
like,
literally
wait,
just
hold
like,
on, she's not on SmackDown anymore. But
right.
yeah, oh wait, what?
You're like,
It's too
"What?"
early, y'all.
I
But
was
no,
gonna
I would love
al
to see Naomi. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think another reason why the title is needed is because it provides more flexibility. Like, we gotta understand that these wrestlers are athletes as well, and when you are in sports, injuries are prone to happen. So say if you're in Damage Control, like, and Dakota Kai gets injured, right? And like that messes up that dynamic of a tag team. EO is now inactive because it's like, well, the tag team is inactive. But you introduce that belt, it's like, wait a second, Dakota can still be injured. If it's not like a major injury, Dakota can still be injured, and EO can go for the belt. And Dakota can kind of be like her little liaison or little manager, right? But that's an opportunity that would not be present if that belt wouldn't exist. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many more examples like that where, like, if there's a tag team and one person goes down, the other person can go for the women's intercontinental or the women's TV title or the women's US title or whatever it is. And so I think that just kind of expands the opportunity in the women's division. So, and now with Asuka and Alexa being back, and you now have a deeper pool of talent to make stuff like that happen. So yeah, that was just what I was that wanted to say
Well,
and get off
since
my
we're on
chest.
that topic, how do you feel about them taking the belts off right before Crown Jewel?
Ooh,
Because
I think
that
something's
definitely shook the table.
it definitely did shake the table. Did I want to see them lose? No. However, it made me more interested for Saturday. Because now what's going to happen is it going to go back to Damage Control? Is there going to be some form of interference by some people returning? Like it definitely shakes the table, and it generates interest for me, and it gives a reason for the feud to keep going, because it's like, if Damage Control won, what's the reason for them to keep having matches? They got attacked by them before. They lost the match to them. It's like the feud is over. But now with them getting the belts, it allows the feud to kind of take a new life and a new form. And it expands creative possibilities, so that, say, that Crown Jewel, maybe Naomi and Sasha come back at Crown Jewel and they attack both teams. Now that team is in the mix. So now you have three teams. Like, there's so many ways that you can go about this from here. So did I want to see Damage Control lose? No. But at the same time, I'm very, very interested to see where they go from here. And I think that it was a good move from a creative flexibility standpoint. What about you?
I disagree with it. I mean, good for Asuka. Y'all know how I feel about Alexa. I'm about to drag my Twitter rant over here because we'll be here for the next 30 minutes. But child, um, I feel like the explanation you just gave me is rather parallel to what you have given me when I was pissed off about Raquel and Aaliyah. Um,
Yeah.
but I feel like I see your point of view, but it boils down to the idea that they just don't have that many credible tag teams going on at the moment,
Right.
so they had to go with these makeshift tag teams that people aren't invested in because it's just like, all right, this person is nothing like this person. It just feels like it's gonna fall off and disband really fast. I mean, we haven't seen Raquel and freaking Aaliyah together since they lost the titles, like gone finito, you know what I mean? And we're gonna get to
Hmm.
Raquel later on here, but um I feel like when they do that, instead of having real legitimate tag teams, you don't care. Like them losing the belt just annoy me. 'Cause I'm like, all right, eventually it's gonna have to go back to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't particularly see the return of Sasha and Naomi at Saudi Arabia. Like that would throw me off. But considering the news that happened, I highly doubt these girls want to jump on a plane
That's a fact.
and head over there when they certainly don't have to. Um, if anything, I would prefer if they kept the belts and they experimented in NXT. I mean, they already been having
Mm.
enough people coming down to NXT every single week. Why not have them play down there with a few tag teams, and
Mm.
make it like it doesn't have to be a week by week thing, but um, I wish they had them go down there. And it actually pisses me off that they have tag team belts over in NXT because I actually liked when they had just one set of belts and they were able to jump from all three brands the way
Yeah.
Sasha and Bailey were doing during the pandemic. I actually love that, but why not? Why not just have them go down there and experiment with those tag teams? Because at least those over there are legitimate. Like
Yeah.
with Casey and
Gigi.
the other one. Sorry.
You're good.
Of course with Toxic Attraction. Like those built like real tag teams. So I actually feel like if I were to watch them, it's like, wait, it could go here or it could go here.
Right.
But seeing Alexa and Asuka, I don't care. Their chemistry is really off.
Mm.
um it feels like it's just to give them both something to play around with, or just because they don't know what to do. Like they have this perfect faction with Damage Control, and I feel almost sorry for them because everyone's saying, well, oh, they're a flop it's not tag team, they're a flop faction. You guys wanted them so badly and they're not doing anything. Well, they can't do anything if the empire around them, not the empire, sorry, the division around them is not structured enough. Like
Mm.
they don't got people prepared to actually go against them.
Right.
Like that's what makes great heels.
Hmm.
And they can't be the best heels that they want to be because there's no ultimate babyface faction besides like Sasha and Naomi, but they're not
Hmm.
here obviously. There's no ultimate babyface faction for them to feud with to get us pissed off and be really invested in them. So it's like, okay, cool, we got this perfect faction. What now? They got
Right.
nothing. And this feels like a nothing ass feud. And I feel bad 'cause I know that they're trying. I know they're trying. I know Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka are genuinely trying, but it's just like that faction don't even look like it makes sense.
Right.
Like that didn't look like it made sense the first time. Bianca out of the way and just Peppy behind Alexa, who can't wrestle she can't wrestle herself out of a fucking plastic bag. And then there's Asuka, who she's amazing. I love her, phenomenal wrestler. She's a legend. It's just their chemistry is so off. It's so off. It's painful to watch. I literally was stressed out watching that match. I felt like she was carrying her side of it.
Right.
It frustrates me. So I want to see just go back to them. I just want to see go back to them, but I want to see them go down to NXT.
Mm.
That's what I want.
I hear that. And I'm not even gonna build on top of that. But speaking on NXT, let's talk about a woman who was one of the most prestigious alumni, Rhea Ripley. Because she's a part of the Judgment Day, and apparently, according to Ringside News, there's been a rumored female addition to OC to battle Rhea Ripley. I think that rumored individual is Raquel. So, with that in mind, how do you feel about Raquel possibly joining the OC?
Um, I'm not I'm not hating on it. It's just that if I felt like it was just easy. Like it was
Mm.
easy to select her because it's like, okay, When people saw Rhea Ripley, they thought of China and DX, and it was a very nostalgic feeling for everyone. But Rhea Ripley still is her own individual, so it was the perfect thing, and it's the perfect dynamic she got going on with Dom. It's still one of a kind. It's still
Hmm.
unique. I felt like with Raquel, I do like her look. I do like her as a wrestler. Maybe not agree with her as a person, but I do see why they're very high on her.
Hmm.
And they want to give her something to work with. Because one thing she is definitely missing is a character.
Hmm.
So maybe with their thought process, they thought, okay, well, she has a similar build to Rhea Ripley, and that since she doesn't have a character, she doesn't really have anything to work with. They kind of just been um having her dominate down in NXT, and then having her win a tag team title feud, but still no build to her character. Why not have her um centered around, you know, legends and veterans, and see if maybe she could work something off of there and try to build off from her angle that she had against Rhea in the past. So I do see that. And they might even reference how in NXT that they were technically not the new four horsewomen, but they had a different name between her, Bianca, and Rhea Ripley. So I feel like
Yeah.
maybe like with Hunter, with the way that he thinks, he just wants to make another reference to NXT and give her someone that Rhea already worked with while helping to build on her character. I'm not against it because I do think it's gonna work out ultimately. I still preferred our predictions and our choices from last week, as I
Hmm.
personally feel like it would have gave a different edge and dynamic to the faction without choosing someone that's just easy to choose.
Hmm.
um, I still definitely would have preferred Shayna. I think this would have been the perfect opportunity to give Shayna a push, to give Shayna an edge, to show her versatility as a character. Because again, I love bully Shayna. That's my favorite type of Shayna Baszler. And like I said, the same way Rhea Ripley is known for her strength and throwing guys around, I could see Shayna bitching out people and putting them in submission locks and snapping their
Yeah.
arms and breaking their phalanges and stuff like that. Like she would have been intimidating the
Yeah.
same way Rhea's intimidating. But I guess I could still see it with Rhea, not Rhea, with Raquel. I'm just
Right.
not like excited. Like on a scale 1 to 10, they got like a 6.57 out of me. But hey, I'm not gonna knock it because she might just shock me because we have not quite met the true potential of Raquel as a character. But it's
Hmm.
beyond trying to push forth that she's Latina, you know.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it?
On the contrary, I'm actually pretty excited. I obviously wanted Asuka and would have loved to see Shayna as well. But the more that I think about Rhea, the more that I think that it makes sense. Number one, yes, it is a reference to NXT. But number two, Rhea and Raquel already have chemistry. They already have in ring chemistry. They used to be a tag team down in NXT. They've had matches down in NXT. And so when you're not sure of how something works out or how it can potentially work out, you want to pick the closest thing to certainty that you possibly can. One of the things that made Raquel so special in NXT was her aggression, was her grit. She used to pull up on the motorcycle. She was had the leather trench coat. Like she was a bad girl. You know what I mean? And I feel like her aligning herself with the OC can kind of reinstate that, because I feel like the moment she hit the main roster and even won the tag titles, yes, she had some good matches, but she was always smiling and posing and appeasing and appealing to people. But she needs to be around some mean folks. And I think that putting her next to Carl Anderson, putting her next to Luke Gallows and AJ Styles is going to reinstill that aggression that made her so special down in NXT. So I actually, on the contrary, I'm actually very, very eager to see how this works out, because we've seen what Rhea can be as like the super sparkly baby face, and we've seen shades of what she can be as either a heel or someone who's just a bad woman. And I've leaned more towards her as being that bad, aggressive woman than her being that sparkly heel. And seeing that, like seeing her being a bad woman going up against Rhea Ripley, that's gonna be a great match. That's gonna be we talk about like the whole, and we'll get into it later in the show, like the Braun Strowman, Omos, big men, and we talked about like Walter and Sheamus and how like they had like these big men battles. I don't think that we've had an equivalent to that with the women. And I feel like they have an opportunity to do something like that with
NXT?
women. Huh? No, on the main roster. Like they haven't really had something like
Oh,
that
on the
on the
main
main
roster. Okay, my apologies.
you know what I mean? So I
Get
feel
it.
like
Get
if
it.
if Raquel is the addition to the OC, I feel like they have an opportunity to create something special that we haven't seen and that we may not have asked for, but when we see it, we're gonna be like, oh, this is fire. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be like a Bobby Brock equivalent down the line
Exactly.
if they like just give them their own like storyline to run with. Yeah,
hmm I think so,
that'd
and
be
that could be,
fire.
and that could
Okay,
operate
I see.
as a,
I pick up what you're throwing down.
you know what I'm saying, and
Mhm.
and this could also operate as a feud outside of the women's title picture that is important. You know what I mean, and that has title implications. So just off of that, I'm excited. So, but we gonna move on because speaking of the OC in Japan, man, a bombshell dropped earlier this week, and it was announced that Shinsuke Nakamura will be facing the Great Muta on January 1st, 2023 for Pro Wrestling Noah. Shinsuke replied with a tweet and he was like, "It's a miracle." But I wanted to know what your impressions were. Wanted to know what your impressions were of this whole ordeal of Shinsuke going to Japan to face the Great Muta.
I don't even think it's an ordeal. I'm actually just like excited because it's just like I never thought we would see the day that like WWE is gonna have like a real like partnership with New Japan. It seems like everyone's trying to like get a get a piece of New Japan, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean it's great business for them, especially to reach out to not just AEW but WWE as well. Because I mean, duh, they're like the biggest wrestling companies currently. You know what I mean? So that's great for them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Shinsuke is excited that he gets to have the best of both worlds and still keep a presence um on WWE, but like they're referencing where he came from and where he really made it big, you know?
Right.
So they're using him, like as a vector and using him, I guess, like as the face of like that bridge
Mm.
over to New Japan. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited for the match. I know it's going to be nothing but good things. I haven't like watched every New Japan match. I'm still catching up on some things, but I
Oh, it's not
definitely have watched a lot of Shinsuke's work.
it's
Sorry.
not New Japan. It's Pro Wrestling Noah. My bad. It's not. It's not a. This is not with New Japan. It's with another Japanese promotion called Pro Wrestling Noah.
Oh, I don't know why I thought it was New Japan. But either
You're
way,
good.
I'm so excited for him. Great. Great for him. Still great for him. You can go.
I'm
What do
weak.
you think?
I think it's great. Well, I think it's great for multiple reasons. Um, number one, like even though Pro Wrestling Noah is not necessarily New Japan Pro Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Noah is a big Japanese wrestling promotion, and it's all right. We've seen AEW kind of had loose relations with Pro Wrestling Noah when Pac was originally hired with AEW. He was the Pro Wrestling Noah, I think, the world champion over there, or some form of champion over there. So Pro Wrestling Noah is a reputable wrestling organization in Japan. I think that the story really is
Mhm.
Shinsuke is the match. The Great Muta is currently on his retirement tour, which was one of the reasons why he made an appearance on AEW at Grand Slam, Dynamite Grand Slam, or like Rampage Grand Slam. That's why he made an appearance and reunited with Sting, because this is kind of his last go around. And so for him to be on his retirement tour and WWE kind of, grant Shinsuke's request or grant this idea that they can have a match in an environment that is not WWE is a very, very, very big deal. I think that because of this, we're going to see some more stuff involving Pro Wrestling Noah with WWE. But I think that the it's just going to be an awesome moment to see, a Japanese wrestling legend like Shinsuke Nakamura go toe to toe with the Great Muta. And on New Year's Day, which is my birthday. Um, so I think it's gonna be a great, great event. It's gonna be a spectacle. I'm very much looking forward to to it. And I think that it's a sign that WWE is opening up its business borders. You know, Pro Wrestling Noah was not somebody that they regularly or consistently worked with. And I could see more partnerships happening with them as well as other wrestling companies. So maybe we will see a New Japan WWE stint somewhere down the line. But moving on from there back over to the States. So Austin Creed, also known as Xavier Woods, appeared on Wheel of Fortune. And after his episode, it was announced that WWE will be partnering with Wheel of Fortune ahead of WrestleMania 39 in order for them to do some special collaborations where they would allow WWE superfans onto the show and compete. Just wanted to know what your idea was, or like your impressions of this little partnership that they have.
This Xavier Wiz is a goat, first of all. First of all.
Absolutely.
Like I feel like he's like the whole reason why any form of like gaming, just anything that's related to like games and stuff like that was like accepted with WWE, with him doing like the whole up down thing with like his YouTube channel and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like I feel like they saw like money in him and what he does, and I felt like um off of just the stuff that he's been doing online, or just him showing his nerdy personality, I feel like he's like the perfect person to be placed in this situation, and to be hosting. So I think it's like awesome. I think it's good for them. I mean, again, I'm very surprised and happy for WWE that they're getting all these partnerships left and right. But I'm most excited to see like who's representing that. What do you
Mm.
think?
I think I agree with you. Xavier Woods is the goat. I was, very, very, sat like sympathetic towards him when they announced the closing of G3, which was a big gaming component slash subsidiary under a major corporation. Xavier Woods was a part of that, and that was one of his goals, to be a host on that channel and that platform, and to kind of see it crumble, unbeknownst to him, and kind of left him out in the mud. I was just like, dang, because he's a great pro wrestler, but I feel like he is very, very passionate about gaming. And I always love seeing him chase his passions, because anything that Xavier touches is gold. Um, so I was
Oh
very
yeah.
worried, hoping to see if there was like some form of gaming component that he can be involved in with WWE, or something outside of it that would, you know, be another life goal and something for him to tackle. And when I saw the whole Wheel of Fortune thing, I was super excited, because like that's one of the things on his bucket list, is to be on that show and on that platform. And the fact that they were able to kind of like blend it in so seamlessly and made it natural. And it's always good to see Xavier perform. So it's, seeing his clips on that show were just very, very heartwarming. So I'm very, very happy for him. And I think this is a very, very smart partnership, because this is supposed to be teasing and promoting WrestleMania 39. For those of you who don't know, Mania 39 is going to be in LA. The show is shot in LA. So this gives a really good brand partnership opportunity for both parties involved. And I'm very, very eager to see where it goes next. But shout out to Xavier Woods. I'm very, very happy for him. And I hope that he continues to thrive in his ventures outside of WWE, with WWE, and just anything that he does, because he's just great. He's just Black Boy Joy personified, and like you can't help but love him. So, but moving on from that, now we have our crown jewel predictions. Da, 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 da. I do want to say, before we get into these predictions, though, I am concerned, because for those of you who are not aware, with the Saudi Arabia Iran conflict, there have been reports of an imminent attack that is supposed to be hitting Saudi Arabia in the near future. If I'm not mistaken, please do the research. If I'm wrong, check me. And it was announced that there was an imminent attack, earlier this week, with the knowledge of WWE coming to Saudi Arabia. And in my opinion, I just don't think that it's wise to be putting your competitors in a position where they can be harmed, as well as the fans. It's going to be thousands of people there, and I feel like this show should not be happening. I feel like the show should be postponed or rescheduled or take place elsewhere. But something about this just doesn't sit right with me. Um, you know what I mean? It just this puts the performers at risk and at harm, just putting them in a, even if the attack doesn't happen, like the 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 toll that takes on you mentally, that you're entering into another country and there's the potential of an attack happening. I know it's going to affect people psychologically and mentally. And if it affects you in both of those ways, it is going to affect you physically. So I really am sending my love and my prayers to everyone who is going over there. And I hope that this could be a conflict free event. However, I just, and then, now that WWE is like, we're in close communication with, people who are the government officials. It's like, there's no backup plan for a terrorist attack. There's no backup plan for war. This is 2022. The whole world has nuclear weapons. If something gets dropped on or near around the stadium, it's a wrap. So, like, that's the reason why I'm very, very concerned. But once again, sending my love and my prayers to everyone who is going over there, and I'm praying for your safety and your well being. Did you have anything you wanted to say about that, or?
No, my biggest concern is just their safety. 'Cause I feel like every time I go to Saudi Arabia, it's always something. Sorry, something's in my eye, people. Like it
You're
started
good.
burning out of nowhere. But no, I feel like incredibly just like anxious for them, just because every time they go to Saudi Arabia, some people get held up. The last thing I want to do is see any like talent that either don't get to go home and see their family and stuff like that. Obviously, the worst case scenario I don't want to happen is anyone get harmed or killed in the process, because it's a scary area. And the fact that they're willing to risk them still going out there, despite the fact that, according to reports, it's not in the same location that this dispute's going has been happening in.
Right.
It doesn't make me feel any better, because like you're, at the end of the day, you're risking everyone's lives for blood money. I support that they want to do a show. I don't support them doing a show at this time. I understand that there's contracts and things have been signed and there's probably been demands and stuff like that. But it's just like, if I'm not sure if this was a Triple H call or a Vince McMahon call or whoever's call it was. I personally would have just shifted the show over to another couple of weeks or maybe the next month or something.
Hmm.
But you know, I'm hoping and praying from the sidelines that everyone gets their destination and back home safe with no issues at all whatsoever, because that is a lot, especially again for those that have family. That's just scary to know that you may be going on this, because I know like people like sometimes like Becky Lynch and them be bringing their children with them on the
Yeah.
road sometimes, and like that's just scary. Like they
Hmm.
have to leave their children, especially at home, for this, and they may not see them. Like that just breaks my heart. So I hope everything works out.
Hmm. Agreed. But on to these predictions. So the first match, Braun Strowman versus Omos. Who do you have?
Braun Strowman versus Omos. They both suck at wrestling. Sorry. Do I have to choose? Do I? I don't
Yes, you
have a
have to
choice
choose.
here.
It's an either or. They
Oh
both
my
can't
god.
win.
I can't omit.
No, you can't omit.
Oh my god. Okay, I feel like since there's nothing to do with Omas at this point in his life, they're gonna give it to Braun, considering that everyone else, for some reason that I can't seem to comprehend, they like Braun. He has three moves total. One of them is running. He botched it a couple weeks ago. There's nothing else to this man besides being big and him being strong and running fast, and that's his entire gimmick. But sure, Broad. We're gonna go with Broad. What do
I
you
I
think?
per- I personally I'm gonna give it to Braun as well, just because I feel like it. You know, I think that he's just gonna win the match. I like the way that Omos is being presented now, as like a serious button down kind of guy instead of just him being in ring gear all the time. I think it's different. I think it's smooth, and I think he has a lot of potential. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Braun Strowman on this one. So moving on to the next match for the tag team titles. For the undisputed tag team titles, we have the Usos versus Ridge and Butch. Who do you have?
Mm, I feel like they may get sabotaged and that it may go to Ridge and Butch.
Mm,
That's what I
really?
feel like. I feel like they have the titles long enough anyways, and there has
Hmm.
to be something going on with this whole Sammy and the Uso
Yeah.
situation, like eventually. So
Right.
I feel like that's gonna set them up by them losing. It's gonna go to Butch and Ridge. What do you think?
Now that you put it that way, because I was going to go with the Usos, I'm going to have to go with Ridge and Butch because there's really nothing else really left for the Usos to do or accomplish. I think they beat the New Day record.
I can
So
probably
it's
agree.
like there's no real like point. But like I think that Ridge and Butch. Either Ridge and Butch win. If Ridge and Butch loses, then I feel like Butch would turn on Ridge. But I think that they have too much momentum for them to break up at this point. But I'm gonna go with Ridge and Butch. And then next we have a Raw Women's Championship last woman standing match between Bianca Belair and Bailey. Who do you got?
Oh God, I still wish I got my I Quit match, but um, geez, Bianca has so much momentum. I feel like I feel like Bailey could use it,
Mm,
but I feel like Bailey could use it. And I hope that if they're gonna have this last woman standing match, they actually show out with the stipulations because the last stipulation pay per view match wasn't what I thought it would be. I hope that it goes to Bailey, and
hmm
I want to see more edge on Bailey. I kind of want to see, considering that's the last woman's standing match. I want to see Bailey win by the skin of her teeth by almost like embarrassing Bianca. Like I want to see her just cut the braid already, or
mm,
attempt to like cut the braid. I think that'd be wicked. So I'm gonna give it to Bailey,
mm.
even though I feel like they may not give it. They may not give it to her, and they might go with Bianca instead. But I'm going to go with my gut and say Bailey. What do you think?
I'm gonna go and agree with you with Bailey. I think that if there are no plans for a women's intercontinental championship at this point, like I feel like Bailey can win and Bianca could still lose strong in this match. Obviously, Damage Control being a faction, they're going to be involved in this in some way, shape, or fashion. And I think this is a great way of having Bianca drop the belt without necessarily looking weak. So I'm gonna go with Bailey. I think that Bailey's gonna win, and then we're gonna see another match down the line with Bianca and Bailey. Moving on from that, newly just put on the card, we have the women's tag team championships, Alexa and Asuka versus Damage Control. Who do you have?
You know who I have next. you
I'm
you
gonna
go.
go with I'm gonna go with Damage Control. I'm predicting that Damage Control is going to have a very Armageddon '03 esque night. When I say Armageddon '03, I'm talking about Evolution. When Randy won the Intercontinental title, Hunter won the world title, and Batista and Ric Flair won the tag team titles. I'm predicting that type of night for Damage Control for Crown Jewel. So moving on from that, we have a steel cage match between Drew McIntyre and Karrion Cross.
Ooh, this sounds really good. Um, I love Drew, so I want to say Drew, but I feel like if I had to go off of booking, they would want to give it to Karrion Cross because they're still trying to build him and build his legitimacy. So far, I am
Mhm.
enjoying this feud though. But yes, now I feel like Karrion Cross may get this one.
I agree. I think that Karrion Cross is going to win this one. The stipulation kind of gave it away for me, right? Like the fact that it's like a steel cage, meaning that you can win by escaping the cage, I think is going to be huge in this way, and it's going to be a way once again of having Drew lose a match without necessarily looking weak. And I think that they're going to really start putting the strap on Karrion Cross to his back so that he can elevate and do other things. So I'm going to go with Karrion Cross on this one. The next match is
Yeah, and
the
plus you could tell that right off rip they're gonna have Scarlett like screw Drew over about time he's trying to exit through the door. That's how I see the win happening. I feel like he's
Right.
gonna try to exit through the door, and then Scarlett's gonna pull out some voodoo magic shit, and then that's what's going to stop him while she like helps drag her husband out. That's literally how I see the ending of that match going. So it's not really gonna be his fault. But sorry, next match. My bad.
That makes
Go
sense.
ahead.
You're good. You're good. You're good. The next match, the OC versus the Judgment Day. Who do you got?
Unless they try to debut their unless they try to debut the you know the alleged spoiler that is Raquel, I feel like it's gonna go to Judgment Day,
Mm,
and then maybe they're gonna like debut Raquel afterward as like her being that final piece they need to beat Judgment Day. So I'm gonna go with
yeah.
Judgment Day.
I'm gonna go with OC on this one. With a OC Judgment Day match at Survivor Series War Games. I think that what's gonna happen is that Raquel is going to debut. After Raquel debuts, I feel like they're going to win. Reason being is just over the past couple weeks, you've seen the Judgment Day kind of like impose their will on the OC and really have been putting themselves over. And so I think that because of that, the OC is going to win and kind of balance it out. And then the Judgment Day is going to want static again. And then that's going to lead to Survivor Series War Games. So OC is who I got. The next match, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Who do you have?
Man, this will go either way, but I'm still gonna stand on Bobby Lashley because I don't know what else they're necessarily trying to do with Brock. Like I feel like
Mm,
this match is just that one match that they needed to throw onto the card for star power. 'Cause that's what they tend to
mm-hmm.
do every Saudi show. They try to throw in some form of a star. So I feel like there's more to work with if you let Bobby Lashley win. I don't know what you do with Brock afterwards if he does win. The only reason why I feel like they would have him win is I guess for like 50-50 booking because if I'm not mistaken, didn't Bobby beat Brock their last feud that they had at a pay-per-view? Or am I
Yeah, Bobby
mistaken?
beat. Yeah, he beat Brock.
Yeah, I like the only reason why I would see them given to that to him is literally just to, do their 50-50 booking shtick, but I think that there's more to gain out of Bobby Lashley winning and with his booking and just making and solidifying him in his career because Brock could afford to keep losing and it's
Yeah,
still not going to make him look any less than a monster because again it's Brock Lesnar. Not that many people have actually slayed him. And plus it's Bobby freaking Lashley. Like off of his
right,
look and his physique and just like how powerful and just how dominant he's been looking, it would make sense if his kryptonite was Bobby Lashley, and I would actually love that to be like a running gag.
right. I I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Bobby. I'm gonna go Bobby Lashley. I feel like him. If you want to keep Bobby strong, he has to win. And I also just believe that because Brock is not necessarily a full time performer, that we are going to see, Bobby kind of being put over because ultimately he's the one that's going to stay around. And I actually think that we're going to see the beginning of the return of the Hurt Business. I think that's the way that they're going to get Bobby the win is having Cedric and Shelton pop up out of nowhere. Because if you notice, Bobby has slowly, you know, doing a lot of Hurt Business esque stuff. We've been seeing Bobby wear the shirt and tie or wear the suits, wear the shades, be a little bit more aggressive, a little less, soft spoken, you know what I mean? And I think that this is kind of paving the way for the return of the Hurt Business. And I think that that's going to be the way that they allow Bobby to win because you can't let Brock look weak. There has to be distractions. So I definitely think that we're going to see Bobby beat Brock. So that's my that's my prediction. And now for the main event, Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Who do you have?
I want to go with Logan. I feel like with the way they've been building him up, with saying with the effort they've been placing in, with showing him training with legends like Shawn Michaels and stuff like that. Like I feel like they've been going out of their way to just like put him over as like no, like Logan, like he's been working. Like I know like he's some random internet dude who just got lucky his last few matches and his last few feuds, but no, like he's taking this match seriously. Like he's getting
Hmm.
like the top of the top biggest stars of the whole entire company to train him, from top to bottom, left to right, and like when you say something when you got someone like Shawn Michaels training you, think about all the matches and all the shit that Shawn Michaels has put up through and all the type of situations he's been put through. Like he's a very strategic fighter, a
Right.
very strategic wrestler. Sorry, my apologies. You
You're
know what
good.
I mean? Not only is he's going to be learning different types of creative moves, but Shawn Michaels is sneaky as fuck. Who's to
Yeah.
say that he hasn't like he's not picking up one of his tricks? You know what I mean? I would pop like a motherfucker if he literally like pops up with a super kick
Yo, that would be mad
and
funny.
catches Roman off guard. That would be amazing, and I feel like people aren't thinking about that stuff. Like, it's not that he's just training with a legend. It's like, think about how sneaky Shawn is, especially prime Shawn. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like I feel like this is meant to be a match where you're gonna think that it's gonna go to Roman because yeah, he's been on like this dominant streak and we're so used to him winning. But I do feel like they're trying to still legitimize Logan Paul. And I feel like if you really wanted to, you can't be mad at him when you've been pushing that Shawn Michaels has been in his ear and training him for all these months or weeks, whatever length it's been. Um, I feel like that would be a big shocker. I feel like it would be the highlight of the night, the talk of the night, if
Hmm.
Logan Paul did. Again, and I wouldn't be mad at it because he's already good as is. Like already like just being someone who's only been in this game for like less than a year now and he's showed us what he showed us. I feel like he is qualified. It would piss a lot of people off because yeah, there should be other people that should have this opportunity who's been here longer, but it's the perfect controversy that WWE is looking for. So I would give it to Logan Paul off of all those things I just mentioned because there's a
Mm.
lot more to gain with Logan getting it now than if you let Roman keep going and go with this tired ass long freaking reign that he has. What do you think?
Ah, man. That and it's so funny because one of the promos that Logan was doing was talking about all I need is one lucky shot. And when you said, super kick, that's the one thing that I thought about. That could be the one lucky shot. So I still think that Roman Reigns is going to win. However, I do see what you're saying, and I wouldn't be surprised if on those grounds Logan Paul wins. I think that Roman's run is just so historic and so once in a generation esque that they're not going to allow him to drop it to Logan Paul. I personally believe that he's going to hold the belt until Mania, and I think that Cody is going to take it off of him. But man, I, I I don't. I'm not mad at Logan Paul being a WWE champion, and on those grounds, it's shot because when you have a show like that and you want to have a WrestleMania like show, you want to have a WrestleMania like moment, and that's that moment. Also, apparently Jake Paul is going to be in Saudi Arabia, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets
Ooh.
involved in the match, and that would be a nice little interesting tidbit as well. So we'll see what happens, but I'm I'm very very eager and excited about what's to come. So those are our predictions, and I think that that's the end of the show. Once again, if you're free on Saturday, join us on the 316 space. We're gonna be chopping it up. We're gonna be reacting to the show in real time. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And we look forward for you to join us. But as for the show, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you on the space, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Later.